So 28 days ago, I had heart surgery for my SVT issue, and I thought I was done. Then on Friday, I had one of the worst episodes I've ever had. It lasted 7 hours. Now, the longest one before this was 2.5 hours. I took beta blockers, I did all the classic maneuvers you're supposed to do to try and stop the SVT, but it just wasn't going. And for the icing on the cake, I'm 2 weeks out from my first Ironman 70.3 of the season. So not the best race prep. In this video, I want to break down kind of what happened on Friday, what happened over the next couple of days, what some of my body metrics were based on like my HRV, rest and heart rate and all stuff like that, what the doctors have said, and then what does that mean for race day. So let's take it back to Friday. Well, no, let's take it back to surgery. So 28 days ago, had my surgery, and based on the instructions that kind of the cardiologists and the doctors gave me, you want to do no vigorous exercise for a week after surgery. So I made sure I didn't do anything there. Then you want to slowly introduce training and kind of ramp everything back up to kind of where you was. So week 2, I then just did a little bit of training. Week 3, I started to increase the volume slightly. And week 4, I started to increase the intensity. Now, along this, in week 4, obviously we've had some of the hottest days ever in a massive heat wave in the UK. So that will mean there's going to be an extra stress on the body every day because I'll be sweating more, just not sleep, not being as good at either. So not necessarily recovering as well in between sessions, and just all round training sessions are just harder. Now my HRV in week 4 was just increasing really nicely, and my rest and heart rate has been on the way back down. So I was starting to feel really good. Rest and heart rate was down back to, I think it was either 58 or 59. So feeling pretty good there. And HRV was going up in the 50s. So feeling pretty good. And then Friday come around, and because I had a busy day and it was going to be really hot, I couldn't fit my 90-minute easy run in. So I had to do it early in the morning before my client, she was at 7 o'clock. So I had to get up at 4:30 and start my run by 5. Now, that wasn't necessarily an issue, but I woke up with a HRV of 38 and my rest and heart rate ever so slightly elevated. So not necessarily a problem. I thought maybe because it's just an earlier start and maybe the sleep wasn't as good that night, that maybe my body was a bit extra stressed. So it didn't take too much notice. So I got on a load of electrolytes, got a load of water in and went out for my run. Did kind of struggle to take on some nutrition, but again, I thought it was maybe because of the heat and nothing too much more than that. Then Friday happened and it was a really good day. I had my clients, ate my food throughout the day, drank lots, dropped my kids off at school. Then I had my afternoon clients, and in my first afternoon client at 1:30, everything was all good. And halfway through the session, just before 2 o'clock, I went to put a weight on the barbell and I felt my heart rate go up. And I was like, oh, okay, don't really know what it is. I kind of forgot that I had SVT because obviously I had my surgery, so in my mind I was fixed. And so my heart rate started to elevate slightly and didn't think anything of it. And I'm like, okay, half hour later, just as we finished up for the session, I'm like, I feel really out of breath. What's going on? Still not fully understanding what's happening. Went inside, saw the missus, and she was like, you need to take a reading with your machine. I was like, no, I'll be fine. She's like, take a reading with the machine. So did a reading with the machine, which is my portable ECG machine, which has the same readings as up to a 6-lead ECG in the hospital. So I got it when I last had all my SVT stuff before to kind of keep track of stuff. So done the reading and it said 196 beats a minute, and definitely having an episode. So bit stressed. My next client was there, so I was about to go into session. So I took 2 beta blockers based on what the cardiologist said to me to do before I even had surgery. She was like, take 2 beta blockers. Whenever you have it, it should then calm it down within like 30 to 45 minutes. An hour and a bit after the session, still heart rate not come down. Body's then feeling a little bit more tired. I'm just starting to get a little bit more stressed that it's not calming down. But I'm thinking, right, it's going to sort itself out. I end up going upstairs, laying down, trying to wait for it to recover. I'm then lying in bed and the heart rate is just not changing. So the missus was like, you need to call an ambulance. I was like, look, I'll call 111. So I called 111 and realized after speaking to him originally, it probably wasn't the best thing to do. I need to call 999. So I called 9, spoke to the ambulance service, and they was like, there's going to be a delay because it's incredibly hot. We've got loads and loads of calls. So it's going to maybe be close to say 2 hours. So I was like, oh, well, fine, but I'll have to wait. So I said to her on the phone, I was like, it might be finished by the time you guys get here. She was like, well, it's fine. We'll come and then be able to then go off somewhere else. Anyway, I'm lying there and it then starts to get a bit worse. So my missus then calls up the ambulance again and they're like, okay, cool. It's still coming, but it's not going to be there yet. So it's been about an hour and a half to 2 hours later. She's called in again. Still, they're on their way. Some community like volunteer paramedics come, they check me out and they're like, maybe you need to drink some more water, electrolytes, you know, there's a lot of people underhydrated in these hot days. I'm like, I know that, I've had enough, but my body is not in a good place. Now, what was annoying, my heart rate when they tracked me using like their finger thing and my blood pressure stuff, it was all saying my heart rate was around 90 and my watch was also saying it was at 90. So when I then checked it on my machine, it said 184 or 186 and I was like, there's your machine, there must be something wrong with your machine. Our stuff is all calibrated and stuff like that. And I was like, maybe I am just feeling stressed for whatever reason and whatever. So they then had to take my blood pressure kind of seated and standing up. So I got to the seated position, was really struggling to sit up at this point. And they took my blood pressure, it was kind of getting back to a normal, it was a bit low. So it was around 110/70. Then it kind of to pick up towards like the 115 towards 75 when I was seated. And then they said, right, we need to do a standing one. Really struggled to stand at this point. So I stood up and the room is just like all wavy and everything. I'm like, I can't stand here much longer. And he was like, look, just hold on for a bit. Took my reading, blood pressure was back up to a normal space. So it was around like 120/80, so good bit. And I was just like, I've got to lie down. So I laid straight back down. And it was at that point, you know, when you're going to be sick, so you're trying everything to do to not be sick. So you're trying to stay in a really still position. That was then where I was at. They left and I was thinking, oh, something's still not right. Because I'm seeing my 90 on my watch, my 90 heart rate. I'm like, something's not right. So I asked the missus to get me my chest strap. As soon as I put that chest strap on, my heart rate showed on my watch at 185 again. I was like, right, it is definitely my heart. And so for whatever reason, it's not picking up down in my wrist. It's not picking up in the pulse. So still not too sure about what happened there. But yeah, chest strap reading and said exactly that I still had that really high heart rate. So this was now, I want to say about 5 hours in. So 5 hours, I've been lying in bed, heart rate through the roof, body not in a good way. So the volunteers have gone and the missus then called up the ambulance saying like, how much longer, like, it's really busy. Sorry, we're trying to get to you as soon as possible. So it'd been about an hour and I was really struggling at this point. Started to really feel bad. And the missus come in and she was like, right, I'll call him up again. So she called him up again. So it's probably been, this was about the 6.5 to 6 hours 45. I was in a bad place and I started to then feel a bit more sick and I was like, right, I think it's coming. So she's on the phone to the ambulance and I just had to gesture to her. I was like, get out. Literally like, whoa, sick into a bucket. And my heart rate just dropped, went completely back to normal. So I went from being like 180 something down to about 60 something. So I'll put the tail end of the heart rate episode here so you can kind of see the drop off. And then I was like, I'm completely fine. Classic. Within 5 minutes, the ambulance comes. I was like, I still haven't managed to capture one of my episodes on a legit ECG. So guess that's still to happen on another day. At this point, feeling really ropey, really tired. The guy's come in, he's taking an ECG. He can see that it's not right still. And it was kind of, there was two things he was kind of looking at. It looked like one, it was called like an early takeoff. And another thing, that's also a sign that could also look like something to do like a blood clot or something like that. He goes, I doubt it's the clot, but he wasn't too sure. And because he was on his own, he needed to kind of call for further kind of information to see if there was anything that he should maybe take me to, say, Bart's again for some cardiologists, like specialists, or if he could just take me to the local hospital. Then another ambulance come. So we've got more people, so from no help to all the help. And then he came and he was just like, look, we're going to just take you to the local hospital because it looks like just a normal kind of just like stressor. So it's not the clot inside of stuff. And yeah, so that was the episode. I then end up, so that was 7 hours later, then went to hospital and, you know, really busy. It's a Friday night, so all sorts in the hospital hallways. I took an eye mask this time. if you ever go to hospital, take an eye mask. That's probably the one thing I would say, because the lights obviously are so bright. I was able to just put it over my eyes just to rest my eyes. And then I did get a little bit of sleep. I was on this like temporary bed thing, just lying on my bag, just kind of leaning against the wall, thankfully. So I was able to rest a bit, had a bit of a sleep. Then about 2 or 3 a.m. I got put into my own room, mainly just so they could take some readings or take some more bloods or something like that. And they were kind of checking my troponin levels again. So troponin is like something that your heart releases when it's under stress. And my levels were back down to around 40. So, well, no, they went back down to about 38. And then I took the next one 4 hours later and it kind of went up to 40, but it still stayed within that, like, I think they said 20% range that they don't want it to kind of fall outside of. So they discharged me at 6 o'clock in the morning and left. And then since then, body's just been kind of recalibrating. My aura has said I had like minor signs of stress. So like normally it tells you if you're going to get ill or something like that. So on the Saturday, I think I had minor signs. Sunday actually felt pretty good. I was like, oh, I'm probably able to be good to train on Monday. This is fantastic. And then Monday come and I did have minor signs again on my aura, and body was still kind of not playing ball. I decided to go against training and not train, because I thought if I do want to race in 2 weeks' time, it's probably best that I don't stress myself too early here. I'm not exactly going to be building any extra fitness at this point. And then Tuesday, body's still pretty stressed, but kind of getting back to it. And then today, Wednesday, managed to get my first session in. So I did about an hour and 20 on the bike with 3 lots of 10 minutes at sweet spots. That was around 285 watts. And there was supposed to be 4 10-minute blocks, but I noticed the power was starting to be harder and harder to hold on for. So I was like, right, I can tell my body's kind of not responding too well. So I'm going to kind of call it a little bit early. So I called it early and pretty happy that I did, because I feel better for that now. But we've then got the rest of the day to now see how my body pulls up from that. So what do I think caused it? Now, one, it could be just, the training as a whole and the heat. Training in the heat is a massive stressor, and it's been particularly hot. As I've said at the start, it's been a heat wave, so maybe there was something to do with the stress there. It could be the fact that I think on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I don't think I had enough liquids. I don't think I had enough hydration. I feel I probably didn't have enough water at all, and electrolytes, I probably had like 1 lot of electrolytes in the day. And if it is hotter and I'm sweating more and I'm training, it probably means I was in a bit of a deficit. And then by the time Friday come along and I did that run in the morning, I just put myself into too much of a deficit that my heart just really stressed from. Now I am 10 days out from Ironman 70.3 Swansea, and I do still want to do it. I was given the all good by the doctors, but they did say to make sure I kind of see how the body feels as I kind of lead into it. And if I do feel too much stress, then maybe just call it. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kind of run the week in a bit, see how I feel. And if I can't go, I can't go. It is what it is. But at this moment in time, I am planning on going, because I feel, based on how this workout went and how I feel that I might be able to recover from this, kind of do an easy run tomorrow, see how I feel after that, and kind of just start to slowly build up. And obviously it's taper week next week anyway. So I guess we'll see. I'm going to be making sure I stay well on top of hydration, because we're going to have another hot week coming in. So in Essex, where I live, it's going to be about 32 degrees, so pretty hot. But thankfully in Swansea, when I checked, the weather is going to be about 22 to 24. So just right. Obviously it's on the coastline, so it should be nice and cool with a bit of a cool breeze as well. So fingers crossed, it's not absolutely mental there. And now when it comes to the actual race itself, I'm just going to perform as well as I can. I haven't got too much expectations for this race. This race has been real up and down the journey for this race. And I've been thinking, right, I'm going to absolutely smash it, to I might not be able to do it at all, to actually I'm thinking I'm going to be pretty good, to then another time feeling like I don't know what I'm going to do now. So it's been a real roller coaster journey so far. But the roller coaster has to come to an end at some point. So fingers crossed the race day is the end, and I'll be able to perform as well as I can on the day and kind of bring you along for that journey as well. So this has been the update to 4 weeks post-surgery. Not the update I was hoping to do, but the update that it is. If you want to go back to the start of my SVT journey, which was back in July last year, I've made a whole playlist which you can see at the top here. So you can click on that, it will take you to the first lot of videos there. And if you're someone that's dealing with setbacks, join the club. It's part of most people's journeys. Very rarely is it a nice, clean path to where you want to get to. So we just have to take the rough with the smooth and kind of just endure it. And that's part of the fun of endurance training. You're in it for the long haul. So if you want to kind of keep up to date with my journey, my SVT stuff, and also my prep for Ironman 70.3 Swansea, T100 London, and also my first ever full distance Ironman, don't forget to subscribe.